Coming up next on this edition of In the City, the first Habitat for Humanity home for a United States Navy veteran was built. Also, Oakland's mansion welcomed members of the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce for a ribbon cutting. Plus, Decoration Day at Stones River Battlefield, where fallen soldiers of the Civil War were honored. And John Pittard Elementary takes home the win in Murfreesboro City Schools' Chef Academy final competition. We'll tell you all about those stories and more coming up right now on this edition of In the City. Welcome to another edition of In the City, your source for what's happening right here in the city of Murfreesboro. I'm Michael Linn White. Habitat for Humanity, along with hundreds of volunteers, came together to build a house for a very deserving United States Navy veteran.
Habitat for Humanity is a nonprofit housing organization based on Christian principles. The Rutherford County chapter was started in 1989 and advocates that every man, woman, and child should have a durable place to live in dignity and safety. It should be a matter of conscience for all. The homes are built and sold at nonprofit and no interest, using volunteer labor, donations, discounted materials, and tax-deductible donations. Rutherford County Habitat for Humanity recently organized their very first Veterans Build for a local Murfreesboro veteran of the United States Navy. The build included many veterans organizations and 284 volunteers that put in 1,580 hours of work. The house was built at 712 Carver Avenue, and we were there for the house dedication.
Thank you all for coming today. My name is Terry Schultz. I'm the Executive Director for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. For our Veterans Build, we wanted to make sure that we remember, honor, and build. And that's been our motto and will always be our motto when we are honoring our veterans, especially on a day like today that's Armed Services Day, where we take an opportunity to recognize all of those who are serving in our services today and all those who have chosen to give of their time, their talent, and sometimes their lives. So we appreciate all of you. We're going to start our service today with the presentation of our colors with the Rolling Thunder Chapter Tennessee 1 Color Guard.
Detail, halt. Left, face.
After the presentation of colors and the Pledge of Allegiance, it was time to meet the recipient, Anika Taylor Robinson.
We've had the opportunity and the blessing to have Nika in our lives for a little bit longer than most of our partner families. She's also been a part-time employee for Habitat for a little bit to help us when we had a need, tremendous need for a receptionist. And the thing I can say about Nika, she is truly a servant of the heart and the Lord and of our country.
First, I just want to thank God for this opportunity and for the journey and for the people that He has placed in my life, because people just don't have to be nice. And I thank you for being nice to me. The Bible says to show kindness, and kindness will come back to you. And I 100% believe that. I thank God for the people that He has placed in my life, my friends and my family, my church, my mother in her travels on her way here, my children for just putting up with me, just yelling and screaming all the time. And I just say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Anika and I are fellow Navy veterans. I'm retired from the Navy. So this is my second career here at Habitat, but my role again is to present the homeowner's manual, and the homeowner's manual is just kind of a reminder of some of the things you learned in your homeowner education class, and contact information for various people you might need for services, stuff like that. Congratulations.
Thank you, Roy. Appreciate it.
When Anika says that she is about the people, y'all, she is about the people. I just don't know that I've met anybody with a bigger heart for people, and what she does in this community is amazing. She won't say it about herself, so I wanted you to know how much she does for people in this community and our disabled adults and children, and she's amazing. I came today to bring you some paintings for your home, produced here by a local artist at Painting with a Twist, and we made you some pottery for your home.
It's wonderful to have an organization like Habitat for Humanity to work with us and help the veterans within the community. And I hope this is the first of many veterans bills. And I'd just like to say I salute all the veterans who are here in the crowd today. And I'd also like to thank the Rolling Thunder Color Guard. Thank you. And without further ado,
Thank you.
what we've all been waiting for. Nika, I'd like to present you with the keys to your new home.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
3, 2, 1.
Oakland's Mansion hosted a Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce Business Before Hours to celebrate the opening of their Arboretum.
Oakland's Mansion recently held a grand opening and ribbon cutting for the Native Tree Arboretum at Oakland's Park. An arboretum is a botanical garden devoted to trees. To be certified by the Tennessee Urban Forestry Council, an arboretum must be open to the public with trees that are labeled, properly protected, and well maintained.
I know that this just looks like a random collection of trees to a lot of people, but this is an incredibly unusual amount of green space to be in such a large city. And because we're able to have that here, we like to use it for educational purposes. And one of the ways that we're going to be able to do that is these signs. There's 35 roughly signs that will tell you the common name, the botanical name, and what the Native American population might have used that tree for, or the Civil War soldiers, or the animals might have used these for. Arboretum, I told Kelly I Googled this the other day because I didn't know the breakdown. Arbor, meaning tree, retum, meaning place of trees, Arboretum. Oaklands Park is downtown Murfreesboro's biggest park. It's a beautiful place. Come see us down at the spring. There's all kind of creatures you didn't know lived in the middle of Murfreesboro. Thank you guys so much for being here. And here in Middle Tennessee, we have a wide variety of trees, but also they have trees that are from East Tennessee and West Tennessee that people in Middle Tennessee don't get to see. So they're labeled and maintained. They're maintained by Urban Environmental, Department of City of Murfreesboro, as well as Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation. Does a great deal of work here, and we could not do it without them. So we very much enjoy that help. Well, this was a park in 1959, but was once a private lawn for the Maney family and the Darrow family. So there's a tree down the hill pushing 300. And also there's trees out in the field that have been planted in the 1910, 1912, and they're still beautiful. And they've had a lot of work done in combination with Urban Environmental, keep maintaining those trees. And we've planted some trees over the years to get us to a nice variety. I tell people this is the best office in Murfreesboro, and that doesn't apply just to me. When the health clinic was across the street, the nurses would come and walk. Now I hope that since the police station is new across the street, we're glad to have them, I hope they'll come and walk the park too. And this park is open from dawn until dusk. But out here, just throw a blanket out. We see it all the time. We highly encourage people to come over here.
On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Arboretum!
Murfreesboro residents and visitors gathered on a rainy day to honor fallen Civil War soldiers and those who buried them at a very special and historic event called Decoration Day.
Sweet Lord, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home.
On May 1st, 1865, newly freed African Americans, soldiers, and white citizens of Charleston, South Carolina gathered to decorate the graves of Union soldiers. This month here in Murfreesboro, the rain couldn't wash away the spirit of those who came to celebrate the 3rd annual Decoration Day at Stones River National Battlefield.
It was an event that started after the Civil War to decorate graves of American soldiers. It really originated in South Carolina after African Americans in that area decided to decorate graves of the soldiers who were buried in a mass grave after the Civil War.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory.
The Stones River Battlefield is the site of one of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War. This day of remembrance is important in the African American community and for all veterans.
Well, Decoration Day is great for all veterans across America. These are just the Civil War that we're talking about here today at Stones River National Battlefield. But to remember those patriots who fought for our country is very, very important. In the African American community especially, after the Civil War, this was called the cemetery community because many of the African Americans buried the soldiers who were here across the street today.
Many brought their families out to support this historic day. Even a school group traveling all the way from Michigan came to Murfreesboro just for this event and to learn more about the battlefield's history.
This is amazing. Yesterday we walked through the slaughter pen and we covered pretty much the entire battlefield, and it was extremely cool.
The group from Michigan and many other young people were there to put their spin on honoring their ancestors and heroes. An interpretive praise dance, as it's called, touched the crowd, as did songs being sung from various voices of participants.
We did break every chain, as you can see, the little skit together talking about how the soldiers were coming and they wanted to fight for their freedom. So break every chain. The song is just very powerful. All the words just go along with the skit.
The event ended with a quiet walk to the cemetery where donated flowers were placed respectfully on the graves. It was a very special and moving day, and they will do it all again next year. Those involved say they wouldn't miss this, and the personal significance for them runs deep.
For me personally, it's a part of my DNA. My great-great-grandfather signed up for the Union Army here in Murfreesboro on January 6, 1863. I started my job with General Mills here in Murfreesboro on January 6, the same date, the same city as my great-great-grandfather.
2011 was the last time a census was conducted for Murfreesboro. State sales taxes are paid out to each community based on their population. Because of the population growth since the last census, Murfreesboro recently conducted a special census to receive additional revenue from the state shared sales taxes.
With a booming city like Murfreesboro, the planning department is one busy department. One of the newest planners of the Murfreesboro Planning Department explains landing in Murfreesboro.
I am originally from the Middle Tennessee area, but the most recent Tennessee job I had, I worked as the Rural Planning Organizations Coordinator, which is a branch of TDOT that's working with not Rutherford County, but the next tier out of counties. From there, I went to Florida and I worked in Osceola County, which is Disney comes into Osceola County. So we had the Disney effect, and so lots of development and very different kinds of development there. And from there, I came up here.
On Diana's first day of employment with the city, she was surprised to see what her first assignment was.
I came in and was told, hey, guess what? We've got a project for you. You're doing the census.
The city of Murfreesboro decided to do a special census since they have a considerable amount more residents since the last census 7 years ago. With the newly added state tax increase on gas, state shared tax revenues rely on this census number.
All of a sudden, a lot of communities did it, but particularly communities like Murfreesboro that had had tremendous growth. So from the last time a census was done, we knew there were 20 or 30,000 people to gain. That's about $2 million based on what we would get back from the state. That's a lot of money to a city the size of Murfreesboro. So definitely worth whatever we spent to get it done.
Diana explains the methods used to gather information needed from citizens.
We went traditional for a while with mailing out the census cards. Please fill out your census card, mail it back in. Business reply, you don't put a stamp on it. And then we tried very diligently to have people do this online, because obviously that saves us money. We're not paying to mail something out. We're not paying to print it. We're not paying to have it come back. And we're not paying somebody to enter that information when it gets back here.
The city also used social media and CityTV to help with the census campaign. The final phase of the census campaign came from the Murfreesboro Fire and Rescue Department going door to door.
We knew it was going to be a lot for the firemen to go out and do. They started maybe 2 weeks earlier than we had planned, which was difficult for them. It was still cold. We had a particularly cold spring. Lots of rain, it gets dark early, so, just a lot of things that were hard for them. But they got out there and did it, knocked on all the doors they could, got as many answers and responses as they could. We had tablets for them to fill out their information, so it went in immediately. And then, of course, IT just was constantly on top of going back and correcting and looking for mistakes and trying to keep us as clean as possible. So when we submitted, we felt like we were in really good shape.
With the final push of the Murfreesboro Fire Rescue Department, The final city tally was 128,125.
So everybody was really pleased with the 128. Obviously, we believe there's more people than that. There's probably closer to 140 sitting in the city of Murfreesboro, but counting every person is really difficult.
It was then sent to the Greater Nashville Regional Council to be confirmed. After the review, they confirmed the number as 122,904, which was a considerable increase from the year 2011.
Former students and educators came from all over the country to celebrate a big night in Murfreesboro's African American history.
We're celebrating the historical significance of Bradley Academy, which started in 1918. So it makes it the centennial celebration, 100 years of the rich legacy and legends of a very powerful school program.
Bradley Academy was the first African-American school in Rutherford County, and on this special night, its history is celebrated along with Holloway High School in an all-class reunion and senior prom. Hundreds of guests from around the country arrived in their finest to celebrate and remember their heritage. Murfreesboro's own Vice Mayor Madeline Scales Harris looks back at her own experience as a student at the historic school, where her mother was also a teacher.
When I think about Bradley, I think about the hardest teacher in the world, and that was my mother. Mama taught us life lessons. She made us, she was an example of someone that believed in themselves, and she motivated us that we could be all we could be, you know, if you just put your mind to it. When my mama was teaching at Bradley, it was segregated, you know, it was an all-black school. And I remember Mrs. Susie Rucker as one of my teachers, and the superintendent was coming to the school, and she gave me this poem the day before and said, I want you to remember and recite this poem for the superintendent tomorrow. So I went home and Mama sat down with me, and not only did we learn it, she taught me line by line what in her opinion that meant. Like if you can keep your head when all about you is losing theirs and blaming it on you. It was just a rich legacy. All the teachers, we were just a community, and it's just so exciting to see all the people come back. A lot of them I don't know, but it's just an exciting time.
The celebration also featured Murfreesboro's Mayor Shane McFarland reading a proclamation, and he says he's proud to be a part of events like this that bring the community together.
Not only do we make sure that Murfreesboro is a great place to live, but we celebrate our diversity. And that's one of the reasons I think that you see the turnout that's here is that in Murfreesboro we're a lot of different people coming together that have different views, but at the end of the day we're all Murfreesborians. And that's really what Bradley is about.
Many guests love reminiscing about the good old days, but also just how significant their time at Bradley was and the lessons that will stay with them forever.
Each year we have our alums to come and celebrate the life lessons that we were taught by very powerful administrators as well as teachers. So we relive those memories of our great legacy through the education system. And as an educator, there's nothing more powerful than the teaching and learning that takes place that carries us throughout our lifetime.
Everyone we spoke to all shared the same sentiment that this event brought the community together for a great cause.
Well, this is a legacy that I am so excited about. This is an event that's bringing our community together. And when you look around and it's over 400 people here and a lot of them are coming from out of town, it's just so exciting just to see our community come together.
The evening was a huge success and festivities continued throughout the weekend. Reporting for CityTV, I'm Michael Linn White.
Murfreesboro City Schools partnered with Habitat for Humanity to help kids understand measurement with a little elbow grease.
A new program introduced in Murfreesboro City Schools is called If I Had a Hammer. The program teaches fractions, measurement, and scaling through teamwork, creativity, and real-life application by constructing a house from the ground up. This program has been so successful that school director Linda Gilbert wanted to branch out with this idea to public service. That's where the partnership between the Murfreesboro City Schools and Habitat for Humanity started.
It connected really well with If I Had a Hammer. So not only are they getting the aspect of seeing how we help the community, but they're also getting to put things into practice that they've learned through If I Had a Hammer, which is really awesome.
We went and visited the If I Had a Hammer presentation at Hopgood, and that kind of started stirring the conversation of what can we do to really bring this to fruition. And then when we started talking about the panel builds, we thought, well, maybe this might be the perfect opportunity to have a group come from Murfreesboro City Schools and partner with us.
Panel builds are where walls are constructed at a different site before the construction of the Habitat for Humanity house begins. The job of the students was to measure and mark the lumber to prepare them for the panel build.
So the panel builds, we started doing those about 2 years ago because we wanted to give people an opportunity to volunteer and really see a house go up. And so we thought this would be a great way for them to have part of the education aspect with math and measuring and cutting, but also to have the construction experience as well.
Today they are measuring and marking where they're going to put together walls. So this will give the people that are going to actually put the build together the opportunity to know exactly where to drill holes and to form the walls for the Habitat for Humanity houses.
The morning started with Megan explaining to the kids all about Habitat for Humanity.
There's so many misconceptions about what we do and who we serve and how the program works. And it's really important for the kids to understand at a young age, you know, really and truly how our program works so that they can understand and volunteer as they get older on the build sites.
These are the 6th graders that are graduates of the Leadership Academy that was 2 years ago when they were upcoming 5th graders. And so they've been through a program where they went to different venues throughout the town, throughout all the way to Nashville, and give them an idea of what leadership looks like in multiple different venues. When I was sitting in there listening, I was thinking that this needs to be incorporated into our Leadership Academy, that I need to be able to bring the kids here to be able to see that this is a form of leadership in our community and how this really gives back and allows our community to prosper and change the trajectory of people's lives. And so I think that's really important for kids to see.
You know, these families that apply for the program, so many of them have said, I've always wanted to be a homeowner, but I didn't know how, or no one really took the time to show me or teach me that this was an option. So now all these people are getting to live the American dream that they thought that they would never get to have.
Murfreesboro City Schools' popular Chef Academy program held its finale at John Pittard Elementary School, and the competition was fierce.
Murfreesboro City Schools puts their spin on popular cooking shows, and it helps kids learn along the way.
We are here at John Pittard Elementary for a competition for Chef Academy.
Chef Academy, now in its 4th year, brings teams from all 12 schools to participate. They're then narrowed down in a semifinal round, and then the grand finale where students from John Pittard, Black Fox, Scales Elementary, and the Discovery School compete for the win. Students must go through a process to be selected for Chef Academy. They have to write an essay, fill out an application that will then be reviewed. As many as 50 kids will apply at each school, and only 4 or 5 are chosen. This innovative program is the brainchild of Murfreesboro City Schools Supervisor of Nutrition, Sandy Sheely.
I wanted kids to learn about fresh foods, how to prepare food, how to eat healthy. So it was just something I just thought of. We could have a competition. You know, kids are competitive, so it was going to work.
The kids can choose any dish they want as long as it meets requirements by the USDA. There's sodium and fat limits, and it has to be something that could be served in the school cafeteria. The man in charge of all of this, Chef Jack, says it's not just about the cooking either. The kids have to participate in all areas in the kitchen.
And they get to clean the kitchen, they'll sweep, mop, wash dishes, they get to use ovens, they get to use steamers, they'll get to use stovetops, pots and pans. So they get to learn anything a cafeteria worker or even the restaurant world, the kids are learning that and getting to do it.
There's also a rule of the competition that you might not think of, but Chef Jack says is very important.
Part of the program is if they're in the program, they have to try it. They don't have to like it. They at least have to put it in their mouth and try it. And then they actually find out they'll like it and stuff like that. You know, learn that you can do so much things with the different grains and different vegetables and stuff like that.
The kids take this competition very seriously, and they learn a lot about what it actually takes to prepare a meal.
I've learned that it takes a lot of effort to make one little dish, and
there could be a lot of ingredients in just a barbecue sauce.
John Pittard Elementary took home the win with their chicken and potatoes dish. It was a great experience, not just for the kids, but for all involved.
When I see a kid try something and they smile, then days later when I see them, they come to a lunch line when I'm at that school, and they say, oh, we love cooking class, we love what we made and stuff. Then their friends want to ask me, how can I get in it next year? That makes you feel really good. It makes you're doing something special to a kid.
Chef Academy is free for the children and is funded through the Nutrition Department and grants. Reporting for CityTV, I'm Michael Linn White.
Overall Creek Elementary gets kids out of the classroom and in the water as math and science come to life for their annual boat day.
Overall Creek is an innovative school with staff always creating new and exciting ways to bring the classroom to life.
We have done a STEAM unit on the Titanic and all that encompassed, and so our culminating project was to engineer an actual boat and to test it in the creek.
These can't be just any boats either. They have to meet certain criteria. The majority has to be made out of recyclable materials and able to hold an actual person. Overall Creek Principal Don Barch not only tests the boats, he is also their client as part of the project, meaning the boats have to appeal to a buyer and have some sort of luxury item like a chair or cooler. And it has to be maneuverable in the creek with a paddle and stay afloat all day.
The challenge is to create a big boat, or a boat that's going to hold the principal out of the water. A lot of times they can float things or make something that floats, but when you get on it, you sink. So they really had to design and do a lot of engineering. I told them how much I weighed.
Teachers say this type of project ties in perfectly to their math and science standards. Water displacement, volume, weight, and the kids love it.
It's really fun, and now we're a STEM school, so we just get to do all these fun STEM projects, and it really makes it easier and fun.
Overall Creek is one of only 15 STEM schools in the state, as designated by the Tennessee Department of Education. This means they meet the highest standards of science, technology, engineering, and math. And math and science become a lot more exciting when kids get to put those skills to use in real-world scenarios like this.
Textbooks talk a lot, and getting outside, getting to do this, designing it in the classroom, it gives them that real-world application.
The Stones River Greenway will be closed from the Cason Lane trailhead to just past Highway 99 overpass for the Highway 99 widening project. The Cason trailhead will be open for parking, and Greenway users may still turn left from the trailhead to the use of the trail. The projected reopening date of the closed portion is November 30th, 2020. The Murfreesboro City Schools Summer Food Service Program has begun. 24 locations will serve a healthy and nutritious breakfast and lunch for students age 18 and under. The Chow buses will deliver the meals and act like a mobile dining room. They will be served Monday through Friday through July 27th. Children do not have to register to eat, just show up at designated times. For a complete list of locations and times, go to www.cityschools.net. Well, that's it for this edition of In the City, and as always, for more information about the city of Murfreesboro or any of the stories you've seen here, you can always visit our website at www.murfreesborotn.gov. And if you want to see one of the stories that you've seen today or catch up on some of the latest city news, you can always visit the City of Murfreesboro's YouTube channel. Before we leave, Murfreesboro hosted another successful Spring Fling. Spring Fling is the state championship of high school spring sports. Here are pictures of some of the people that helped make this annual event such a success, thanks to photographer Jim Davis. I'm Michael Linn White, and until next time, we look forward to seeing you in the city.